Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Tane Talks. I am your host, Tane, here to talk to you today about Couples Therapy, Season 5, Episode 7. Here with me, as always, is Jen. Hi, Jen. How are you doing?
Tane, I am equally wonderful and terrible at the same time. I don't know how that's possible. I'm doing wonderful because this World Cup has taken over my life, and I'm just equally like countries I've never heard of. I'm just rooting for them, and I'm like deep into these men's lives. Now I see how you end up deep diving into the lives of people on couples therapy because I am deep diving into these men I've never heard of, and it's a problem, but a good problem. A good problem.
That's so cool. I enjoy soccer and there's so many people like you're saying, like that's the thing that the World Cup does is like introducing you to people that you may or may not have known. Like everyone is going crazy about the Nigerian goalkeepers purely for his looks because as I've said before, we did not qualify for the World Cup. But it's still discovering new people. Doesn't
Yep.
have to be someone currently playing. And by the time you guys, hear this, I don't know what will be. We'll probably be at the quarterfinals, and we don't know who's going to be there yet. Do you have a favorite for who you want to win?
Well, mainly I'm rooting for countries where we visited. You know, my husband and I have been traveling for the last 4 years and we spent a good amount of time in South America. So really like the South America teams are coming to the forefront, even the little ones. So just absolutely insane over all the South American teams. But then some of the other ones that, I'm trying to root for Cote d'Ivoire. I don't know where they're going to be at this point with the time of the recording, but some of the little countries that could, I'm so happy for them too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go nuts. Go, countries, go. All right, guys, we are here. We are at episode 7, and they started with Drea and Nessa. They were like, cold opening. Let's just dive in.
Did that make you happy? Like, where were you when you saw their faces?
I just have like this little weird, fun internal game that I play with just myself of who's going first. Which rotation are they going? Where are they going to place this person? Are we getting 3? Are we getting 4? Are we getting a background today? And this is the first time this season that Dre and Nessa are going first. So I'm just like, ooh, they're here. So okay. Drea says that she has a lot of expectations as someone's wife. And as someone's wife, she feels that she's owed a lot, meaning that she is a person whose identity is very tied into being a wife and mother. Nothing wrong with that. It's just who she is as a person. And there's some people that are like that. You meet people who are like, I don't want to be known as just a wife and mother, but I think Drea is the opposite and she
Mhm.
wants to be known as a wife and mother and that's who she is and doesn't see the need to explore anything else beyond that. Um, she says she likes to spend. Well, Orna is like, what does that mean? What are the expectations? And she's like they spend lots of time together. And Nessa has to say, okay, go ahead. What was just say it? And she says, I don't know. And she's like, sex. But she seems hesitant to speak. I'm like, Drea, now is not the time. You always
Right?
speak. Just speak. So she's like, well, I don't mean like on demand, but when I want it, I'm like, that's on demand, boo. Okay. um, Nessa says this comes from the last session where she canceled her appointment and Drea actually went out and she had a good time and she felt good and she felt great. And I'm like, oh my God, we had a follow up to a homework. And also, it looks like the episodes were in order, which doesn't make any
Woohoo!
sense. But okay, we'll just go with it. So after that, she said after that session, she wasn't imposing her desire to be intimate on her. But then the next day, she was like, ooh, let me put this night dress on. Here's the ironic thing this night dress, we have heard about it for a number of times. But in my mind, how can something called a night dress be sexy? This is all I'm thinking about is what is this piece of clothing that is her signal to wanting to have sex and we're calling it a night dress?
A
Like
night dress.
I'm imagining, those animations where they have those people when they're going to bed and they wear like a shirt dress and a hat when they go to
like,
bed.
like Ichabod Crane,
Yeah.
Scrooge.
I'm like, Can we call this something else? But night dress and sexy time, I do not put two together. So,
Well, also
um,
because generally Drea doesn't present very like she comes in her hair in a bun. It doesn't look like she wears makeup that much. Like even when they do shots of her at home, she's very not plain, but she's not overly I'm guessing she's not whatever this night dress is. It's not from Fredericks of Hollywood. It might be like one silky thing that she picked up at Victoria's Secret once. I don't think it has like spikes on the boobs or anything. I don't think it's anything crazy, but for some, it's just so triggering to Vanessa. And the words imposing her desire on me seem real dramatic. Like, like your wife
guys, they're still wives. Just want
they're
to point that out.
wives. Yes, but you're also spent. You're still there. If you don't want her imposing your desire on you, then you need to not be there. Like, how is she? If you're still in the house and you're still living like a couple, why wouldn't she think that she could, quote unquote, impose her desire on you? You're still there.
Yeah, and also it's not imposed. She's letting you
Right.
know
Right.
that she's DTF, not imposing. Okay, imposing is like holding you down and saying you must fuck me.
And I don't even know after all the things that Vanessa has said to Drea why she would even want to, but she does. So, give
I'll
her a
tell you
little.
why. Because Nessa has said that when she turned 40, all of the desires came flowing. And Drea is too lazy. She's not going out there to look for somebody else. I have inbuilt sex in here. Why would I go look for it?
And I
That's
get
why.
that too. Like, especially, I've been married for 9 years. Like, the thought of having to break in a new person and train a new person, like, I'm good.
So she's like, you can say all the things, but when it comes to sex, let's just be like Shay. Let's separate the two and just do what we need to do.
Yikes.
Um, you mentioned it. I was gonna mention it later, where it's like she's not a person who puts on a lot of makeup and does all the things, but I gotta say, on
No.
this episode, it was a lot. Like she came in, she did not try at all. She looked, I don't know if she was exhausted or she did her hair was just all over the place and nothing. And I was like, is this a bad day or is this just regular
Oh,
day for her?
yeah. I
Because
don't
even the
know.
shots at home, she looked actually better. So I don't know. I don't know what that was about. Okay. So she Orna asked why they aren't having sex. And I'm like, wait, I thought she said it already and how she
Right.
wanted to take sex off the table. And
Mm-hmm.
Nessa is like, because we don't want to continue in the same cycle of me leading her on while I am on this quest to honor myself and my desires. I was like, interesting choice of words. But I wrote down, I was just like, Nessa is fine with it. Like, that's okay. Like, she
Mm-hmm.
lead her on, baby. She's fine. Like, speak for yourself. She says that she doesn't want to have sex with her because she's asking her to. And Orna asks Drea, does that make sense to you? And Nessa confirms what I'm thinking because she's like, why can't we do both? Like, why are you making me choose? I don't want to.
That's her Drea.
Nessa Nessa is looking at Orna. To me, her face says, you should tell her, like, no, we can't. We can't do that. And
Please,
Drea's looking
please,
like,
please tell her.
right?
Please, please tell her I don't have to do this.
So Drea's just like, right? We can do both, right? Like, Orna's like, no, I'm asking you. She's like, well, if the spirit moves us, and Orna's like, there are no rules. And then we get pictures of their relationship over the years. We've gotten a lot of pictures of their relationship over the years. But again, they've been together since they were 19. So they do have
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
memories to share. So Orna asked them about their previous major cycles. Like, what are these previous major cycles that she's mentioned? Nessa says they started off passionate, young, and the way they were moving, like she just wanted to do more. So she left her apartment and got her own apartment. She saved up and bought her own house. Um, Drea says that's an interesting way to say you broke up with me. But I was thinking, like, if you leave an apartment where there are two people paying rent, or maybe she was the only one, how do you save to buy a house? How does that save to go get another apartment and then buy a house? I mean,
Oh,
she did
well,
it.
Oh, sweet Tane. I love that you want clarity and you want to understand how all of this stuff works. You're so sweet.
Well, only because I think it was bullshit though. Like, don't make it sound nice to say that you wanted to save, so you got your own apartment, because it's ass backwards. People move in together to save money. They don't move out where you have to pay another deposit, get another place. And I'm sure if you were with her, maybe even if it was a 1 bedroom or a 2 bedroom, or I guess Drea doesn't work and you were paying on your own, how do you save?
I
Either
mean,
way. So I thought it was bullshit. She wanted her own space. Just say that.
yes. Yep. Nessa's magical thinking. And I don't want to give her credit for being diabolical, but it works. Every diabolical thing she does works. So weird.
so so yes, Drea says that's an interesting way to say you broke up with me. And she goes, yeah, I did, but I'm just saying why I did it. But part of it was that she wanted to sleep around. She wanted to explore other people. I was like, say that. Don't
Right.
put ranch dressing on it and say you wanted to buy your own house and things. So I'm just like, okay, so Nessa is not new to this. Like, she's felt trapped for a while because this was when they were young. So
Right?
this has been going on. They're not lying when they say it's a cycle, because now we're 41 and we're still doing this. Although, like we said, a couple episodes ago, it does feel like Drea can be suffocating. Like, Nessa is her entire world, and that
Yeah.
has to be a lot of pressure since you were 19.
But
You
also, how
know?
did this? But there had to be a way for this to come up sooner. Like at the point where Ronessa said, "I have to leave this house. I'm leaving this house. I'm going somewhere else." At that point, did y'all have the conversation of, "Hey, this is why I need space because I feel X, Y, and Z"? Probably not, because they still can't have that conversation. But uh, it's so frustrating.
Honest, I feel like they have, and that is why I put, so kind of like, when we have this whole Amanda and Wes thing. I don't even put Wes in the equation because something's wrong with that man. The onus to me is on Amanda. Like, you should know better. In
Mm-hmm.
this case, the onus to me is on Nessa, because it's almost like I don't know them personally, but I can guarantee that Drea is not doing anything. Drea is not looking out there for anything. Drea is not going to try anything different. Drea is just comfortable. She's going to come what may. She's going through it. Nessa, you're the one who wants something different. You're the one who keeps leaving. Why are you coming back? We
Mm-hmm.
know that the constant is that Drea is going to take you back. You're the one who's suffocating. You're the one who needs oxygen. Why are you not walking away? So to me, the onus is on her.
And it's either because A, she hasn't found anything better, because that happens a lot when like people open up their relationship and the man thinks, yeah, I'm going to get it left and right. And it turns out the wife is the more popular version of this. It's like
Yeah.
once she gets out there and she realizes, oh, I'm not the prize, or people don't give me, I'm not propped up and I'm not somebody's everything like I am with Drea. So let me go back to that, is what I think happens.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So Nessa says, okay, so I was doing my thing. I was in relationships, but we were still best friends, sleeping with each other. I'm like, okay. So my question is, Drea. I mean, I know the answer, but my question is still, Drea, were you dating other people? You're watching her date other people. Are you dating other people? Or is she having comfort in that I can date other people? I know for sure Drea's not going to do anything and she's there when I need her. And you're sleeping with each other. So,
Right,
Drea, you yourself should have that inkling. You're young, you're free. Someone else, she's sleeping with other people and you're always the constant. Break yourself free of her. But
right.
she's not going to do that.
No, but it
I
also explains why at this point in their relationship, when things are so terrible, that Drea still wants to have sex with her, because this is their pattern.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, again, the constant is she's not going anywhere because it's too much work.
Hmm.
If she cannot do her daily function, like taking her kid to daycare and doing anything because Nessa is not around, we cannot expect anything else from
No,
her.
no.
So I'm not, yeah. And in her mind, the way her mind functions, I think she feels like as long as Nessa keeps coming back, what is the
Hmm.
problem? She's one
Right.
of those people, like I see this on reality shows all the time. At the end of the day, he's coming home to me. Uh, d- I'm like, that's not a flex, but okay. Um,
Congratulations.
yeah. So I could ask, why is Drea putting up with this? But that's a solo, therapy session, and that's a whole other thing to unpack. And I think we kind of got it. Her mom was scared of everything. She's scared of everything. She
Hmm.
gonna change at 41? doubt it, but here we are. Drea does what she does when Nessa tells us a dream of dreams, and Drea's like, no. We're like, Honor's like, what? And she's like, no, that's not what happened. She's like, you forgot to mention that you broke up with me because you were married to someone for 9 months. Out loud my mouth, I said, oh, what?
Insane. Insane.
Why would you leave that out, you dream teller?
I have to stop drinking water while I watch the show because every time something like this happens, I spit it out. Because what the way that Nessa just glosses over stuff to make herself sound like the villain, or not the villain, but the victim, and the way Dre is here to be a truth teller, I'm applauding that part. But what? How do you forget to mention a whole marriage in all of this?
Exhibit 558, guys. Why Dre and Nessa are my favorite couple. I don't know what is going to come out of their mouths from week to week. I thought we had
Oh.
peaked, guys. I really thought we had peaked. And I just, I can't even imagine Drea in a hetero relationship because she just seemed like, well, I shouldn't say she's comfortable because she a couple of episodes ago, Orna did unearth that there's some internalized homophobia, right? So it does track, right?
Yeah, but that was a whole bomb that oh, I was married, boom. Oh, and it was to
It
a dude,
is.
boom. What?
Honestly, that's true. Because when she said she was married to someone for 9 months, I thought it was a woman.
I did too. And then they said
Oh,
husband
Dre and
and man,
Nessa.
and I was like, what?
So she says, yeah, we got back together because the whole time I was married, we were still sleeping with each other the whole time we were married. And I'm like, Drea, stand up. Stand up. Like this disrespect that we're seeing in the therapy session is just normal because Drea has been disrespecting. I'm sorry, Nessa has been disrespecting Drea this entire time. Like all this I'm hearing is just disrespectful. Like you go around sleep with people, then come back with her. You go around and actually get married and then still sleep with her during the whole time and you're trying to figure stuff out. I'm like, these people have aged Orna. I'm sure Orna is like, what the
And it's
fuck?
like, I'm gonna write a book. Y'all are crazy. I just,
So
yeah. Oh my god. So Nessa's just a cheater pants is what we've learned is that she is incapable of being, I was going to say fidelity, incapable of being faithful. I don't know if it's just to Drea, and maybe that's the other reason why none of her other relationships stick is because she cheats on everybody. Maybe you should be alone, sis.
I don't know if I'll go that far, but I would say she's selfish. Maybe they're on the same umbrella, but I do think that she's selfish because it looks like she has been on a quest. And it doesn't matter. The quest currently now is she wants to see what it's like to explore the world more, but she's always on one quest or the other. And she doesn't seem to realize that it hurts other people, specifically Drea, which
Mm-hmm.
at this point, Drea just wants to do nothing about it. So whatever comes your way, that is what you get, honestly, because you shouldn't stand for this. That's the
Right.
most important thing for me. Once again, Orna is not asking, why are you putting up with this? And this
Mm-hmm.
is so frustrating because I don't know if this is not the Orna we used to know, but there are just so many easy, low hanging fruit questions that are not being asked. Because why are we not asking Drea, why have you put up with this whole time? How did you
Yeah.
feel when she got married? Why did you think that it was okay to keep sleeping with her? Like, how do you feel that you keep taking her back, regardless of what she does and regardless of what she wants? Because now, if you're dealing with, like, okay, I should be hetero and I should be married to a man, but you're still there enabling her, like, take a breath, Tane. But that's all the questions that I had
Yeah.
during
That
that
doesn't
time.
that doesn't match up. Yep.
Okay, so she says that she glossed over it because they were past that. I'm like, Honor is not. It's new information to her. How can you say they're past that? And you're not the one who had consequences to that. You were the perpetrator. You don't get the right to say we're past that. That's like if Chris told Sienna we're past that. So, you know, let's move forward.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, and she was like, Orna asked about the cycle, so that's what I was talking about. So she explains that she was still struggling with her sexuality. She met a man at her job. She married him and was like, okay, this is how I'm supposed to live my life. And I'm so shocked. I think my jaw was still on the floor by the time she was explaining this whole story. And it just goes to show you that a therapist can only do so much and can only work with what is shared with them. Like,
Yep.
imagine if Drea wasn't there.
Yeah. It would have been like, oh my gosh, poor you. Like, oh, you're dealing with all of this stuff and da 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 da. And yeah. And that's the
Mhm.
tough part about being a therapist is you can only talk about what people present to you. I remember when Jax from Vanderpump Rules was going to therapy, and he was manipulating that whole situation. It's like, no, 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 roll the tape. This man is terrible.
Mhm. So Nessa says that the thing is that after they were done, he left her house and Drea moved in. Okay. So she says that Drea says that she has always let her go do her thing and they will always get back together. I'm like, not a flex, but okay. She's 40 years old now. And is she going to be sitting on the side waiting for her for the rest of her life? And I'm like, well, this is why Nessa's pulling this shit. You're always going to be there. Like,
Yeah.
she's
That's a
like, at
question for
50,
yourself, ma'am. That's a question for yourself.
probably requires too much thought. And she just pushed it aside. Too much work. So she's like, at 50, am I going to make this decision again? Like, do I want to change? Is this how things are going to be? And Nessa's like, I agree. I agree. We do have to do something different. I'm like, Nessa, you're the. She's acting like they're talking about somebody else completely. Like, Drea knows what she wants. She wants her comfortable life. You lead, I follow. I put on my night dress, we have sex, and that's it. You're the one who wants things, but you don't even seem to know what you want. And I wonder if she's still struggling with her sexuality. Orna doesn't ask that, but it's just a question like, are you still uncomfortable? Does Drea just truly remind you of your sexuality? And you're still uncomfortable with that?
I want to give Ronessa some rationale as for why she's behaving this way, but it's truly just like you have the power to you can get out of this anytime. You can leave. Drea's not going to leave. So if you want this to end it, but she doesn't want this villain edit. But also you're on TV. So if you're trying to battle with your sexuality, being on TV, I'm not sure is the best way to do that.
Hmm. Well, Nessa says they will both stay in this cycle, but that they are both exhausted from. I'm like, not both. It's you and Drea likes like y'all just the way you are. So then that's it. That's how he ends. And I feel like lately their sessions are ending abruptly. It's not like I know what a better way to end it is, but it's like we get deep into something and then that music comes up and then that's it. I'm like, oh, okay,
No.
we're done. We see them at home. Well, we see Drea doing laundry, cooking, and doing all the things. And the music is playing in the background. It's like a page from maths. The lyrics are like, I could be someone else. You say I drag you down. I don't want to feel like this. I feel like shit.
But a bump.
I'm like, play it again for Drea. Play it again. So, okay. I'm going to take a quick break and I'll be right back.
You guys know I love to read, and I sometimes share in some episodes what I'm currently reading. Every now and then, I challenge myself to read something outside of my usual genre, and that book for me now is House of Rain by Harley LaRue. It's a gothic romance novel that follows Salem, who ends up stranded on a remote island instead of going on her honeymoon. There she meets the mysterious Rain, whose family manor is filled with unsettling secrets. Then people start dying, something begins stalking the forest at night, and what starts as a forbidding attraction turns into a fight for survival. With the isolated island, gothic mansions, and the creeping sense that something terrible is always just out of sight, I was intrigued and creeped out. If you're a fan of supernatural suspense and dark romance with an unforgettable atmosphere, check out House of Rain by Harley LaRue, now available wherever books are sold in print and in ebook.
All right. We are back with Sienna and Chris. How did you feel? It was a Sienna focused episode.
I have words, but I'll let you continue.
Okay, okay. So Orna shares with Virginia how Sienna has shared how she makes the choice not to be bitter. Basically, she chooses joy. But what she calls choosing joy is like having no grief. And her terror with Chris is whatever the transgression means to her will flood her with grief. So she tries not to like engage or think about it too much. So now we're back in therapy, and Chris says that they have tricky stuff this week. They've worked through it together. Sienna says they connected physically and they were cuddling. I didn't know if that meant sex or just cuddling. How did you interpret it?
I mean, and these two aren't shy about, when they do it, they say the F word. So I don't know why we're being cagey and delicate now. So I'm going to say that it was just the cuddling, because if they did more, they have no problem saying that.
Okay. I was unclear, like you, and I was just like, why were you dancing around it? But yeah. So they connected physically and then they were cuddling, and then she suddenly had the thoughts. They came back, like, why? Why did you need this from somewhere else? This is so nice. And when Orner was like, okay, explain stuff, she says like the stuff in here she doesn't like the connections when she comes here, like she doesn't like that feeling when Orner makes her explain stuff, like the feeling of not being in control reminds her of when she was raped violently when she was 14. I wasn't ready, guys. I'm sorry, I should have said a
No.
warning also. Trigger warning, because she is going to talk about her rape, and you can skip past it a few minutes out, but I will be explaining what she said in her session when Orna asked. But oh sorry, you were about to say something?
Oh no, I was like, we didn't get a trigger warning. This just came out of nowhere. And this is
Yeah.
her repression is just, it's big. It's big.
Yeah. She says that when it happened to her, it felt like um she was violated. He did violate her, and she has spent years running from that incident. And Orna asked her if she is comfortable talking about it. She says that she was at a party and was very drunk, and this guy tries to make out with her. And she had gone to a room just to lay down, and this guy comes in and he had dead shark eyes. If you guys remember, the last time we heard it was when she was talking about her husband, Chris, and when he gets into that mode. And she realized what was going to happen and just started yelling and screaming. And she just has snapshots of being held down, her head being banged on the nightstand, and just being grabbed from the door. Her friends were still there, and when she came out, she just ran to them and said, "Didn't you hear me screaming?" And they left and they're like, "Oh my god, are you sorry?" And then she told them she had to leave immediately. And then after she told them, all she kind of got was like, "Are you okay? Is everything okay? Like, I'm so sorry." But they did not go to the police because she said it was just a culture where you did not go to the police. So she says that she can be removed from it, but when she comes to therapy, it doesn't feel like, she sees it like a painting, like, oh, that painting that's over there, and it's so abstract. So she says she doesn't feel like a painting anymore whenever she's in Orna's office, that she recognizes that it's actually her and she was actually a kid. And she just kind of wonders why she ever thought that it was her fault. So she says that's why she hates coming here, because she's reminded that she doesn't have the power to make things okay all the time. And it makes her mad and it makes her sad, and she's kind of tearing up, and Chris is crying at this point, but he is comforting her. We've seen different situations where the partner is just like sobbing and the other partner is just staring at their partner, but he is comforting her. And I do think, I know you don't like Chris, but I think that's what I do like about them, is that with them I can actually still see the love between them.
I am so shocked because I think she said that she was 14 when this happened. And to being 14, especially with all the stuff that she had going on with her being biracial. So on top of that, you have to deal with this very violent rape. So she had to deal with a lot as a kid, and she repressed a lot as a kid. And that is so much, and it's so wild. And I can see why Chris would, I guess I wanted Chris. You're right. He did pat her on the shoulder. He does love her. I guess I just wanted him to come at her with the same level of care and comfort that she comes at him. Like, I kind of wanted her to put her head in his lap and for him to rub her head. And like, I just wanted that same level of care that she gives to him. Like, even when he tells his stories, and she'll be like, oh, well, that's why you do this, or this is why this happens, or whatever. And he did mention, okay, this is why the shark eyes get so, it's so powerful for you. I didn't realize it was so strong. So I want to give him credit, but I just wanted him to do more. Like, this lady is the, I put post-its of joy around my house or my in my office, and I highlight things, and I'm just joy. And for her to say this very crazy thing, and for him to just pat her on the shoulder and go, there, versus him like grabbing her and hugging her and kissing her. And I just wanted him to do more, but that may just be me and my feelings towards him. But I don't know.
So I understand, but for me, we're all different people. It's
I know.
what he requires. It's how she shows affection, because even at that time, who's to say like her just hugging on him or whatever, is that what he wants? Like, he does the lap thing, it's a thing that they've always done. And so I'm giving not grace, but I'm putting that into consideration, that they're two different people, because in some way we could see him comforting her and doing all of that, and we would interpret that as him taking her moment again
I
instead
was
of just letting
waiting.
her.
I was
Yeah,
waiting for that, because there was a time when, before Orna went to him and asked him how he felt, like, he started moving his mouth, but then he stopped himself. Like, I was waiting for him to start crying or something that was going to take it away. So I will give him credit that he did not steal this moment from her. So I give him a tiny
yeah.
bit of credit for that.
And then the other thing is, it's news to us, it's not news to them. He says it hasn't been discussed this way before, but he is aware of it. So how you react, would not exactly be the same, because he knows of it, and I don't know what they've been through with it. So for me, I'd rather that he let her have her moment in therapy, because we rarely get to see her get to express it and say all the things in the presence of a professional in that way. So,
You're so sweet. You're a kind, sweet person, Tam. I'm a terrible, terrible beanie.
no, you're not. So, okay. So, yes, she says, so Orna asks, well, I think she says she used to have a lot of rage about it, that she used to like Sienna truly became a different person when she talked about it. Like, she used to have a lot of rage, that she had fantasies about murdering him, that she wanted him to make him feel the way that she felt, and it was almost like a guilty pleasure thinking about, like, bashing his head in and just giving him that pain, and it used to make her feel good to feel that. Do you know what it reminded me of?
Probably Chris last week when he was talking about the violence towards his mom. That's what it
Exactly.
reminded me of.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. The same way that he was talking about, he just said, okay, let's go. We can do it. You're talking about it. Let's be about it. And he was like, it used to make him feel so good. So that was, I was just like, wow, they still found each other in that pain or place.
Right?
So she says that it takes up so much space, like even, that constant state of positivity, that it can be exhausting. And I'm like, guys, I feel vindicated. I tell y'all all the time, toxic positivity, not good. Not
You
healthy.
did it. You did it. You were right.
So Orna asks Chris how he's doing, and that's when he mentions that they've talked about it before, but not like this. And he just feels bad, and you can see his face. He was just heartbroken. His face just read like heartbroken. Then he says, like, this is a big connection, because Sienna has talked about all the different connections since they started coming to therapy, and her naming it doesn't feel good, but he is glad that she did name it, and now he can see how her dead shark eyes and him turning to anger probably hurt her so bad in ways that he didn't understand. That he said not understand, but like he didn't let himself understand how it betrayed her trust, and he knows he would never do that again, and he's so fucking sorry. He wishes he could take it back, and she's like, me too.
Yeah,
She
I
let
like
that
that. I
go.
was like, yes, yeah, girl. She was like, me too. I was like, yes, Sienna.
She says, but oh well, this is life. And Orna is like, nope, don't do that, because this is what happens when you repress stuff and you disassociate from it. Like if you don't process your stuff, it haunts you and it colors what you do, and it's playing out between the two of you because that's the closest person to you, and it, plays out with that person. And she does want to point out that cheating is not rape. It's a door that just opens her deep injury. And I feel like
How
I
did you
was
feel about
stunned.
that? Yeah, me too.
I was stunned. I think, well, my last thoughts was just, wow, two deeply traumatized people found each other. That's
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't. That association of cheating not being rape was tough for me. There was something about it that just really, really
ah,
rubbed me the wrong way because in terms
it's a
of physically, no, but in terms of the
act.
perception for her, yeah, like why would you take
It's
that
still a
away from her?
violation.
Yeah, so I didn't like that.
That's true. I
Breathe.
don't. It's so tricky that even I don't want to step into that because I understand that both are a violation. So I don't know if Orner is just trying to say it's not equitable, but it's also like, can you say that on her behalf? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But I think the thread between the two for Sienna is the dead shark eyes. So like, even though the
Hmm.
act is not the same, this equivalency that she's made between her perception of how she's being approached is the same. And so I don't know if you could
I
take that
think
away
what
from
is
her.
so surprising to me is that if this is a connection, the dead shark eyes, when he turns to anger and he becomes a different person, how has she been able to stay in it
Yeah,
for
she's
this long without being re-traumatized over and over and over again, considering he had no idea and we are on year 13?
you know.
I'm very surprised, but they made it through. Okay,
Whew.
I'll take a break and I'll be right back. And we're back. That was heavy.
Yeah. And
So,
it just reminds me like how much our brains do to protect us. And that's all I kept
mhm,
thinking about with Sienna was that her brain is trying so hard to protect her and her feelings are like, nope, we're doing this.
mhm, gotta go through it to get through it. Okay, Marjorie and Jason. They're my second least favorite.
But they're not great. They're not great.
I just don't. I don't even know how they function. They seem to just not fundamentally like each other.
Right. And then there's
Like on.
not there's not one issue. Like there's always, they come back with a new thing every week where it's like, well, what's the through line between all of these issues that you guys are having? And I think what you said is absolutely right. Y'all just don't like each other.
Yeah, because what do you want to solve? Do you even want to be together, or is it too much work to separate at this point?
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. I don't, what is there to save? Like, you don't touch, you don't speak lovingly about each other, you don't seem to want to support each other, you're not on each other's side. It's like all of the things that make a couple, y'all don't have. So why are we here?
Mm. And the way it sounds, I feel like her kids don't even like him. But anyways, so Jason has to live in a house where only his son kind of likes him. So that's uncomfortable. Why would you do that?
Yeah. And is that, I think we determined that's their son together, but the other daughters are
Yeah,
hers. Okay.
yeah, yeah. She had a kid from a previous marriage, and they have a 9-year-old together.
But
So
then
Arnes, go ahead.
you're going to talk about this later, but then there's another kid that we didn't know about, I
No, we
think.
knew about them. One lives with the grandma.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
confused.
So Orna says that Jason has incredible self discipline and he can speak to it beautifully on how it helped him, but that also makes him impulsive and always in a tug of war. And now we're back to therapy, and Marjorie says that she has never been as angry as she was last week and just started talking to him now. I'm distracted. I'm staring at Anna's hair. I'm like, Mama, what's going on? Can we get a wash, a comb, a brush, something? What's happening? You roll out of bed today? Like, stop it.
And my
So,
husband hates whatever those little braid dreadlock things she has. My husband hates that.
her color 4 and 30 braids together in the back.
Yes.
So she said she was at work and then she got a random text message from Jason saying he's pulling Ryan, their son, out of school, that he just decides he's not going to do the drive. For those who don't remember, at the very, very beginning, Marjorie shared that they were moving and they've now done the move and they were still going to go to their school, which is 80 minutes each way, which was insane then and insane now. So, he called the other school and asked them, is there a space for Ryan? They're like, yeah, there's a space and all that. Immediately, I was like, wait, does Jason work? We find out later that he does work, but I was like, don't ask me why. He just looks unemployed, but he's employed. That was
It's
me
the,
just.
it's the head, it's the head tattoos.
It really wasn't the head tattoos because I'm sure he could do otherwise. He just looks unemployed. Don't ask me to explain. I was just being the judgy judgina. But then he was like, he also, and on top of everything else and pulling out their kid, he's like, I emailed your mom. And she started panicking because she was in a meeting. She couldn't respond. And she's just like, she read that and she's like, oh my God, my mom is going to read that and not want to talk to her or come to their house again. And Orna was like, that would be your mom's response. And she says, I know she would. That's what she would do. And I'm pissed off all over again because her mom sounds like a piece of work. And somehow she just wants her mom's approval and lets her
Hmm.
get away with her shitty behavior.
Yep, over her husband, which is a problem. Like she wants her mom's
Well,
approval so bad. She wants her mom, and the woman that your husband's like, this is fake. So your husband at some level is trying to protect you, but you're still choosing the thing that he's trying to protect you from. That would piss me off too.
like all the people in the house don't make him feel welcome and he's not feeling welcome in his own house. And then there's somebody who does not live in the house who still has a priority over him in the house. Like it's too much. So she said she immediately had her oldest daughter who lives with her mom. That's the person that I guess the grandma came to pick up. Remember when
Yeah.
they came and wouldn't talk to Ryan, so she came to pick her up. And I think it was Haley or somebody. And she told her, go look at at mom's phone, check if Jason emailed her. And I'm like, they've never told us why she lives with her, but also this is insane to involve your child. I don't know how old she is, but insane. Then she says, Mom, you're so lucky I intercepted this. And then she deleted it and then blocked his email. I am livid at this point. I'm very protective about kids. Like whatever happens with adults, you chose it, that's fine. But when you involve kids, this is annoying because this shows how much she does not respect Jason, because now you're involving the child and now the kid feels like, yeah, I can block Jason. Mom doesn't even like him. Why would he have any authority to tell her anything anyways?
Hmm.
You
And
know?
now you've got another person on against him. Like it sounds like she might have already been there, but
Yeah.
yeah. So this is
Yeah.
Marjorie, like let this man go. You
Like
don't
you're not
like him.
even doing anything to help the situation. Everything you're doing is actively against him. So Orna asks about her mom and says, talk to me about your mom and her existence in your marriage. And she says, well, she doesn't like what Jason has done in the past. They're not apparently going to tell us what Jason has done in the past, but they had a big fight. And that's why she didn't talk to her mom for a few years. So, I mean, I'll give her credit. I guess she chose Jason and didn't talk to her mom, but it also feels like she didn't like that she chose Jason. And she's like, nah,
Right.
that wasn't worth it. So I'm not going to do it again.
And she probably
So
made Jason pay for it every day. She probably reminded him every day, I chose you over my mom. I chose you over my mom. And now you made me fat. Da 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 da. Like I'm sure this
oh,
wasn't
that's
like
true.
I chose you and I love you and I chose you and it's gonna be us against the world. I'm sure she reminded him every day of what she's going without because of him.
You're right. And I'm glad that, her mom's still alive because let's say something happened while they weren't speaking. That's it for Jason. He's
Oh
never going to hear the end of
goodness.
it
You're toast.
forever. So, she says now that they're talking, she doesn't need him to muddy the waters. And I'm like, so you're just going to keep taking whatever it is that, she gives to you. So Orna is like, where does she get her power? And she's like, she's paying for their school. I'm like, Jason, my guy. It,
There's a
none,
solution here. There's a solution here, guys.
well, that's what he's trying to do, right?
Yeah,
Withdraw him and put him in a school. But also, don't say all of that. If she's paying for your son's school, like, of course that
right.
gives her power. So Orna says, why did you reach out to the mom and not Marjorie? And he was like, I did. She just didn't pick up. And she's like, I was in a meeting. Like, I couldn't do anything. So he says, like, when he goes to work, like he has some time before work, he just sits there and he was just thinking about it. And he was like, oh, I got to do this. And he just called, and there was room for Ryan in the second grade. And he was just thinking about how um, her mom oversteps her boundaries. He basically went from 0 to 1,000 on there. So he did try calling her first. She didn't pick up, and he just felt like he had to get it done before he goes into work. And he just felt like, so Orner was like, that was impulsive. And Marjorie's like, what did you say? Say it again. Impulsive, right? And I'm like, okay, don't give her any more gas. We don't
I
need to
know.
have any
And
more
now
gas.
she's going to say that to Jason every time. I told you you're
Yep.
impulsive. You're impulsive. You're impulsive. Nah, nah, this is your impulse talking. Oh, no, you just gave her ammo. Ugh.
So then he says he felt like he had no choice, that he had communicated with her, tried to give her all the reasons why the kids should switch schools, but every time he talks to her, he's met with dismissal. So if he doesn't step up and make the change himself, it's never going to get done. Orna is just fixated on the fact, like, okay, you did have a choice. It doesn't mean you didn't have a choice. It just meant you had different opinions and you kind of have to negotiate. And he's just on a tangent. When Jason gets started, you can't stop him. He's like, he doesn't know how to be received by her when he's expressing his heart out about a situation. He doesn't feel acknowledged or respected. He feels dismissed, rejected, and almost like he doesn't know any better. And that Marjorie and his stepdaughter, her daughter, have a sign language that he picks up on that they think they can't see, that they roll their eyes, they shrug their shoulders. And this is what I mean. Like, this breeds disrespect. Why are you in cahoots with your daughter? If you don't like the man, set him free and go
Meh.
tag team with your daughter and be happy. And then Orner is like, what do you have to say about that? And then she justifies it and by saying, like, I mean, yeah, usually when he's saying something ridiculous, and he's like, but it's not ridiculous to me. Like, it's my true feelings. And I'm so mad, Jen. I just
Well, and part of me was like, because I'm trying not to give Jason too much, because is the stuff that he's saying crazy, his MAGA stuff? Because yes, absolutely, we're rolling our eyes at this. But if it's just I'm saying my opinion and I get shut down because all of you guys don't like me, then that's a very different thing. And so, yes, I think Jason in therapy gets hurt in a way that he doesn't get hurt at home, which is why he kind of blurts and rambles on, because he's like, I've been holding this and I've got to get it out because nobody else is listening to me anywhere, any other place.
yeah, the man said he didn't want animals, and Marjorie is like, you know what? I'm gonna get all the animals in the
Let's
world, and
get
now they have like
15. Yeah.
7. Yeah, I don't want the kids to drive 80 minutes to school and back. She's like, what does that mean? I'm gonna do it anyways. I don't want my son to experience being rejected by his grandma. Oh no, she loves him. She held him at the park. Here's a picture. One time.
Right.
So,
Or even
you
when
know,
Jason loses weight, she's like, oh, you're so annoying. Knock it off. Like, even when he does something good, he gets no credit from his wife.
how dare you be happy?
Yeah.
He
Ugh.
was featured in his local paper. Apparently, he's one of those who says, "Oh, I reject being MAGA. I'm not MAGA anymore." So
Yeah, I saw it. That came across
good
my
for him.
TikTok feed and I was like, okay,
Mm.
sure.
So I'm disappointed when Orna switches to Marjorie and says, Marjorie, so what do you need to hear from Jason? I'm like, no, 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 no. Let's
Yeah.
go back. Let's find out, why does your mother, like, yes, you're happy that you're talking to your mother again, but at what cost? Like, are you okay with her just having that much power over you that you are willing to not listen to your husband and let her get away with things? Because now it seems to be a pattern. But she's like, what do you need to hear from Jason? I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
And
let's not even get into the mom stuff, because that's going to give her a whole snowball of a story. Let's like look, the core of this is, why don't you like your husband? Why aren't you defending him? Why in every situation in your life that you've brought to me for this last 7 weeks have you not once stood up for him? Like, that's the core for me. I'm not
he's
Orna,
been
but yeah. Ugh.
She's been dismissive of him.
Yes, the entire
Um,
time.
yeah, and then she says, I need him to apologize and acknowledge he was overstepping. Okay, he does apologize, actually. He really does apologize, and I'm actually surprised. And Arner just tells him, like, at the core, they each don't hear each other or take what the other says seriously. And I'm like, yes, since day one. They don't know what each other stands for. They don't know what the other wants. And I'm just, man, people are really comfortable in their discomfort and or their unhappiness, let me put it that way. And they're just gonna stay there regardless, you know? And
Oof.
then we segue to B-roll of couples arguing.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was like, oh, do these people have to sign off a waiver? Like they're being recorded and they're like, hey, we just noticed you arguing. We taped it. Could you sign off on this? Because we want to use this for our TV show. I was like, oh, goodness.
Maybe they are paid actors too. Who knows? But
Maybe. I
yeah.
don't know.
They saved the quote unquote best for last with Shay and Clinton, so it's a four couple episode. Orna is telling Virginia that Clinton's investment in the Discord community offers a remedy for a lifetime of being misunderstood. For Shay, it's been a lot about being cheated on and hiding, and she feels like all the attention is towards the group and she has lost him as a partner. She wanted the open relationship, but when Clinton started enjoying the open relationship, then suddenly she didn't want it anymore. Shay's much like her mom, whether she wants to admit it or not, but she's a power trip. She wants to be in control. Virginia says that she can't bear when people break up in your office and they didn't know they were going to. And I said, ooh, is this a foreshadowing? I mean, I'm
I
here
know.
for it, but ooh.
I was like, thanks, Virginia, for emotionally preparing me for what's going to happen next.
Yeah. Then Shay comes in and then she actually pulls the chair away
I
because the chairs are like side
know.
by side. She pulls it away and gets on her phone. Clinton comes in afterwards. She's on her phone. They don't speak. And I'm like, ooh, baby. They go in. Shay wastes no time and is like, did you have someone over on Monday? He's like, no. You sent them a car? No. And you sent them home on Monday? No. He says no, all high pitched. And she keeps saying, you sure about that? You sure about that? He was like, no, man, I did not. No. And then he says, whatever, man. You spying on me, my nigga? Goddamn. I was like, whoa,
I,
whoa, whoa, whoa.
I know. I was like, wait, what?
Whoa.
Are we allowed to do that?
Whoa.
What's happening?
Bro, you're in the presence of two white people. What's up?
Yeah.
But
No, don't do that.
everyone was like, you are not going to catch me in this. They moved on so quick. It was almost like he didn't say it. Almost like he did not say it. I was like, whoa. But I'm just like, the thing is, Clinton can't control himself. He just, once he loses it, once he gets, triggered, he just goes off and he just can't control himself. And I don't even know if he realizes that he said it. So,
No, but also like he also, we talk about him being triggered. It's like it's also you being caught. You get real upset when you're caught. Like it would be a lot probably feel a lot better for your emotions if you just admit that you were wrong. Because if Shay is if not anything, she's a detective and she's going to bring receipts. So just be like, "Yep, I did that," and call it a day.
she's not a detective. She's just a spy. She's tracking that man. She says, if you cared about the relationship, you wouldn't be acting this way. And he's already heightened level. Clinton is like, I mean, I care, and then he was like, I cared and about the relationship. Then she goes, oh, past tense. That's okay. You had it right the first time. I get it. And he's like, shut the fuck up, man. You frustrate me. I'm like, oh God.
Caught.
He's caught, but also you have got to regulate. It is not okay to talk to people this way or to just say the things that you want to. Like, luckily, you're in a therapist's office with camera people and other people, but it's not okay. Like, I don't know if that he can't help it, but this is why I think, that question when we first started covering the season, where it's like, is Orner equipped
Mm-hmm.
for this?
Mm-hmm.
Because once he gets in that mode, that like it just takes a while to bring him down, and it's like you can't get anything done because he's so frustrated and he has to get it out.
Yeah.
So Orner is like, okay, guys, how would you like to walk out of here today? And he's like, amicable separation. Shay is like, we are past that. That would have happened a long time ago. I'm like, yeah, that would have happened a long time ago, but why didn't you break up then?
Right. Right.
What we doing? What you saying?
Hmm.
So Orner says, okay, so you want to break up? And Shay's like, I don't think there's anything left. And Clinton was like, yeah, it gets to a point where there's only so much you can take when you get a 2 hour text barrage of insults, cursing you out, threatening you. And Shay's like, no, I have receipts. Like, you're lying to me. You had other people. And I don't know why we are not acknowledging that she is tracking this dude. And is that okay?
Yeah, and I don't know. Is she tracking him, or is he just sloppy? And they on a shared phone plan where she can see all of his stuff because she seems to be financially involved in his life, or and she seems to be involved in the intricacies of his life. So I don't know if she's necessarily spying or he's just sloppy.
Jen, last week, she said, you were sleeping, your phone was
Oh, and
pinging,
I
I
went through
picked
your
it up.
phone. I went
And
through
I
your
went
phone. You're
through
right.
it. Like,
You're
yeah,
right.
she
You're
is.
right. You're
So,
right.
and also it's Shay. She's the control freak. She's saying it like everyone's let you down, but here's the thing: in everything, no, I don't want to get go there. I was gonna say like in relationships, right? Whenever there's a breakup, you have to take account and just like what part did I play? I was
Mhm.
what why I held myself back was I was gonna say whenever there's an encounter, you have to look at it and say what part did I play in this. But that's a tricky thing to say because I'm not trying to imply like if something happens and it's like, oh, it was my fault and that's why, oh, I was violated. That is by no means what I mean. I just mean like in a relationship when something happens, like with Shay, where she's been through this, what like this relationship with Clinton, right? If they break up, what is her story going to be? Are you going to acknowledge that you were kind of controlling and wanted him to do everything you did? Or are you just going to say, he hurt me, he cheated on me, and then you take no accountability of what part you played in this? Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I think that's going to be her story is that she did everything for him. It's the look what you've brought to my table. I did this for you. I did this for you. I did this for you. And you didn't bring me anything. No, I don't think in her story when she retells this, it's going to be I contributed to this. It's going to be I did everything and I was violated.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying is like that's where she's lacking in
Hmm.
this thing. So he says, why are you back channeling? I don't know what that means. What does back channeling mean?
I mean, I don't know if he's trying to say backtracking, but also to your point, I don't know what you're talking about because she's been pretty much going forward in everything that she's saying. Like these are the
Okay.
steps and this is the problem. So I'm not sure.
Okay, we both don't know what back channeling means. So she says, well, why are you lying? Then he was like, did you sleep? She goes back again. Did you sleep with someone on Monday? He's like, no. And then the phone is back up, guys, but she didn't learn. She still has no screenshots. She's still scrolling and trying to figure out where the receipts are. So he finally says, I may have sent them there, but then they're going back and forth, and Orna is just letting them fight. Like she was quiet for a long time. And then Orna says, okay, let's pause. Let's pretend, because Shay was like, you're not even my friend. And Clinton says, like, you're so convinced I'm trying to fuck you over, not like have sex. And you're always convinced that someone's trying to hurt you. And she says, you literally wrote in the message, if you want to get fucked, you can. And oh, Clinton is standing up now and he is up and moving. He's not on the chair. So she tells him to sit down, or not tells him to sit down, and he sits on the floor. He
He
does not
sits on
sit
the floor.
on the
I was like,
couch.
oh, like a kindergartner. Oh.
Yeah. And then Honor says, okay, let's step into each other's shoes and you tell me what's upsetting her. Like, as your friends, you know each other very well. Speak from that point of view. So he says, like, she's scared. She feels abandoned. And she feels like she was getting pushed away. And she also feels betrayed. Shay is nodding vigorously, like, yes. She says, then Honor says, your turn. What do you think he's feeling? She says he feels betrayed as well, that she went behind his back to find information that he would never have offered. She had to throw in her dig, and that he feels accused and that he feels shameful. And she says, I understand him. We're just in two different spaces. He is living out his youth. He has never had that freedom. I came in as some savior, and now he feels like I'm the one controlling him, like his mom, and she could care less to control him. And he says some things aren't compatible in their lives anymore. That she says things like, oh, if you just listen to me, your life will go easy. And his mom used to say that to him all the time. He says, however, that doesn't excuse the thing that I did. And I think that's the thing that's frustrating about Clinton is like he does all these things, but he immediately goes, I understand, I know why it is, but hindsight is 2020, I guess, for
Yeah,
him.
I'm going to do it anyway. I really, really liked this technique that she had
Yeah.
because when these two are just going at each other and talking about their hurt and their pain, you're never going to get anywhere because it's going to be like, well, you did this and I did this. Da, 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 da. So having them talk about or vocalize what the other person is feeling, I think was a really good approach, and it brought down it didn't bring down the temperature of the room, but it kind of changed it from being this tit for tat to like, what do you want to do with this and what do you see from the other person? So I like that a lot.
I did too. I do think it brought down the temperature a lot because it softened them a little bit because you have to think about it like from this person in the good times because it's a journey to get to know someone and you have to go through things together to know that person. So I do think it kind of like brought it down because even
Yeah,
Clinton's, tempo was like brought down from when he was high pitched and shrill and just,
yeah.
speaking.
And I think they captured each other pretty well. Like it showed that
Mhm.
they do know each other well because what they each said about each other was very true. So I really like this activity. I'm annoyed that it took us this long to get here, but I like the activity.
Mhm. Yeah, I think to give space to like if you're angry, get it out. If this is the only place that you can, you might as well get it out because sometimes you got to be petty. You can't always be like nice and friendly.
Right.
So Orner translates that. Okay, so what I'm understanding is like you hold things that Shay says to high regard, and maybe too much. And he was like, yes, I do. And he feels like the only way to have freedom is on the sly. And he says, like, yeah, I just feel like I have to do things or things, do it on my own. Shay rolls her eyes at him. Um, Shay finally breaks down crying and says, like, he promised he wouldn't treat me like this. And here he is. And she says she found the love that she grew up with, that people say they love you and then they mistreat you. And her whole life, she has been searching for love and she thought this was different. And I think I'm not saying I'm right, but I think he lays credence to, what I was talking about last week about Elizabeth Gilbert, like when you're addicted to love and you do all these things. And she's like, oh, I did this for you. I went whatever for you, but you're looking for that reciprocation of them just being indebted to you, which in its way is not healthy. Like you did find the love you grew up with because you were practicing love with the love you grew up with, which was
Yeah.
fear. The guy is scared of you, whether he's gonna voice it out or not, because she thinks like she's being careful and she doesn't want to hurt him. But Clinton has never actually come out and said, I'm scared of you, but he has implied it. He said, like, this is how my mom used to treat me and I had to get out of there. She feels like, she knows everything better and she doesn't let me do stuff or whatever. But I think the closest when he said, like, you are kind of similar to your mom, and she did not like that at all.
Yeah, she doesn't. She
So
never likes that comparison at all. But also, I wonder, or what hit me when she said, I thought this relationship was different. I wonder if she thought, oh, because she said before that she used to date people that are more stable and more this and more that, older, stable. And then she picked somebody that was younger and less stable. So is that what she thought was going to be different? If she picked somebody that was going to rely on her more, that they
yeah,
would
I
love
think
her
so.
more, which is what you said. So that's really the crux of this is you pick somebody that wasn't your equal, thinking that was going to give you, I don't know, not the upper hand, but give you
Yeah, it is the
love that
upper
look
hand
different.
because to me, this relationship, besides her being a caretaker, is her having the upper hand and feeling like she could control him. And I'm just in awe that 7 episodes in, Orner has not asked her, for someone this has been your dating past. Why did you? What was different about Clinton?
Mm, yeah.
I just think it's an important thing, but what do we know? Or Orna asks her to try to speak not from anger, drawing on the friendship again and just explaining how she feels. And she says it doesn't matter. If he cared, he would have acted differently. He's still just like, how can she think that I didn't care for her? We've just, reached a crossroad and we just have to separate before it gets even worse. So she just says she doesn't want to be in a relationship. And Orna asked him to take a break and, take a breather and then come back next week to talk. And Orna just tells them, like, remember your friendship. And in my brain, I'm just like, she's like, there's 2 more episodes, guys. We got to get some episodes. You can hang in there and then we could knock it out. Y'all can break up for real.
Do your
and
best.
then,
Do your best.
and then that's it. And then that was the end of the episode. And then we did get a PSA for sexual violence that came up. And that was it.
Yeah. I think one last thing about them too was that Shay had said something along the lines of like, I didn't think he would hurt me. I didn't think he would ever hurt me. And Orna says, well, that's not, it doesn't work like that in relationships. People do hurt each other. And so I thought that was fair.
It is fair. But I think again, she was
That was
trying
fair.
something different. Like maybe if I had the upper hand, if I had control, and
Mm-hmm.
this
Mm-hmm.
is what happened. So
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So now the episode, we have 2 episodes left and we'll be wrapping up the season. So hope you guys join us next week for the last 2 episodes and we'll see how all of this is going to wrap up. Well, a little part of me, do you think that they're going to come back and pull a Drea and Nessa on us and say we just talked everything out and decided to start from scratch? Fresh start?
I hope not. And actually, I kind of hope we get a wrap up of Drea and Nessa that looks something like this.
Ah,
Honestly, I don't want them together.
one can only hope. But I don't know. They should entertain me for the last 2 episodes and then go their separate ways. And it will be so ironic when we find out that Nessa is the one that actually cannot live without Drea.
I don't think that's a surprise. I think that's proven. If she could, she would have left by now.
Well, that's true. That's true. That is true. So fascinating. I love them on my screen. Okay, guys. Thank you for listening. Tain Talks everywhere. And we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.